So, I would like for you guys to do me a bit of a favor. Pretend that we just had the actual ending that I showed you in the previous part. Pretend that we have just used the Crucible, we've defeated the Reapers. Now, this is going to be a little tough because, from what I understand, the mod that's going to turn the Citadel DLC into an actual epilogue is going to change things where it basically removes any references to the war. That hasn't come out yet. So, for example, this DLC starts off, we go to the apartment and Anderson talks to us. Obviously, as you just saw, he would be dead at this point. So I imagine that cutscene's cut out or something. Again, I'm not really sure how it's going to work. What I've decided is, because there's a couple of other things I want to show and just see for myself, because I want to kind of experience it for myself, there's a mod specifically here in regards to the clone situation that I picked up, which I really want to see how that's going to work. So we're probably going to end up doing this twice. Either in this run, because we're going to go ahead and just do the DLC now. As much as I would like us to really pretend as if this is an epilogue, unfortunately, until the mod comes out, it's going to be a little hard to do that when Anderson is literally talking to us and he's supposed to be dead at this point. But other than that, sometimes this is why it feels, and a lot of people said this, it absolutely feels like this should be an epilogue. The idea that before we've defeated the Reapers that we would take shore leave and go chill and relax and have a party and such, it just feels out of place. Now, once we've defeated the Reapers, yeah, let's go to the Citadel. Now that's been moved back to its original spot. That's part of the point of what they did with the mod that you just saw, the happy ending. They showed a still there. You caught it, where the Citadel was moved from Earth and back to where it originally was, so it's now back in place, so we can actually have this as an epilogue, as opposed to before, where it seemed as if the Citadel actually was destroyed or something. But yeah, it's like, once we've defeated the Reapers and everything, yeah, let's go to the Citadel, let's have a party, let's celebrate. Oh wait, there's there's these loose ends with this clone that from Cerberus and all that, yeah. So, yeah. Again, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how they're going to change things with that mod. And I really, really hope that it doesn't have any compatibility issues with this mod that I'm going to be showing in this DLC, which, for those of you who are curious, it is called FemShep vs. BroShep Duel of the Shepherds. Again, this was something that apparently, when they had N7 Day back in either 2019 or 2020, it's on the mod page, Mark Meir, the man who voices male shepherd, or BroShep, is the one who actually pitched this idea of a cool what-if kind of idea. And they ran with that and made it into a mod where now we can actually have both shepherds, go up against each other. Now, again, I'm curious about how this is going to work, because if they didn't change any of the dialogue and such, it's going to be kind of awkward, because I don't know about you, but the clones' plan, if this was, say, as we're going to be seeing here, if this was BroShep showing up and telling FemShep, I'm going to be the new shepherd, I would like to somebody point out, how are you going to be able to convince people that you're a shepherd, since they all know that shepherd's a woman? It feels like there would be some things here that if it was just normal, it wouldn't quite work in terms of it making sense or him accomplishing his plan. But that's part of why I wanted to go ahead and do this. I really want to check this out. Even though there's a part of me that also wants to wait for the epilogue mod to come out. But I figured, let's go ahead and check this out now, and we can probably check it out again later once the mod comes out and I get it set up, and hopefully they make sure that stuff is compatible, there's no conflictions, and heck, we could even wait and see it again when later on more stuff comes out and we do our Renegade run. That's part of the thing that I'm just really glad, is that it feels like there's more. I'm so excited there's more content on the way. I know it's on the way because they're advertising and saying to the people who are on the mod pages that more is on the way, because it was already made for the original, but they just want to bring it over to Legendary Edition, and it's just going to take a little bit of time. But doesn't the idea that more new content for this trilogy coming out, doesn't that kind of get you excited about getting to play it again, that new content is going to be added to this via mods. It does for me, you know. Anyways, enough of me talking about this. Let's go ahead and get underway here, shall we? So as much as like I said, I would like for you guys to pretend as if this is the epilogue. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little difficult to do so. But anyways.
Commander, I've got Admiral Anderson on the QEC. Patching him through to you now.
Shepard.
Admiral, how you holding up?
Day by day, Commander.
Yeah. Hackett sent me a message about this apartment.
I want you to have it. Take it off my hands.
Are you serious?
You need a place that's yours. Somewhere to recharge, clear your head. Kaylee wanted us to settle down there. Thing is, the longer I'm on Earth, the less I want to leave. And I want as few loose ends out there as possible. Like I said, you'd be doing me a favor.
Let me just say this right now. I think Anderson has a different definition of what an apartment is. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people that have lived in various different kinds of apartments in real life. And they're looking at this place and they're like, no, this is not an apartment. This is not what I define as an apartment. This is, like, way beyond. Just look at this place.
That's very generous.
It's practical. We need you in the best shape possible. Rested. Focused.
If you say so. Thank you.
And make yourself at home, damn it. It's yours now.
I'm sure I can manage.
Okay, good. Been meaning to do that for a while. I'll talk to you soon.
Be careful out there, Anderson.
You too, Shepard.
I'm sorry, this is not an apartment. This is like a luxury suite. Probably even more so than that. Like, I'm sure there are some people that would be like, no, this is not what I would consider or call an apartment, you know? We'll explore and look at the pads in a moment, but this thing's gonna keep going. You have a new message. You have a new message. So it's like, look, I'll just go ahead and answer this now. Hey, Shepard, I've got a few things I wanted to go over with you. With the Normandy and Dry Dock, I figured we could meet up at that Ryusei sushi place down in the wards. I hear it's the best. Joker. Customize the bathroom. Standard vanity. Very few options right now, unfortunately. I'm just like, seriously? That's a lot of books. Oh my gosh, seriously. Can you imagine how much this kind of place costs? Look at this place. Little waterfall, piano. Look at this fireplace. My goodness. Look at this kitchen. This place is incredible. And he calls this an apartment. No, 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 no. No. This is not what a lot of people think of when they hear the word apartment. Just amazing. My gosh. It has a hot tub in our bathroom. Our personal bathroom in the master bedroom has a hot tub. My goodness. Can you imagine how much this place must cost? And you, of course, can probably just wish that you could be able to live in a place like this. I know I would. Oh my gosh, if I had a place like this, I'd never want to live anywhere else. I'd be set. I'd be like, yep, I am comfy here.
What was I talking about? Early days, right? People ask why I joined the military. Everyone talks about honor, duty, sure. But that's never the whole truth. It's 100 little things that add up to commitment. I joined because of a dog. Yeah, a dog. This patchy, mean son of a bitch that used to bark at me every day on my way to school. He'd snarl and I'd start running. Scared the hell out of me. I was just a kid. I remember being in a bad mood one morning. Angry, I can't recall why. When that dog started in on me, I snapped. Started barking right back. We both kept at it until we had nothing left. Dog never bothered me again. Why'd I join the military? Sometimes you just gotta howl to make things right.
A few months ago, I had a chance to sit down with one of Earth's most decorated soldiers, Admiral David Anderson. He was kind enough to answer my questions and talk about his career. Today, the Admiral is on Earth, leading the defense of our home against the Reapers. We have no communication with him or any soldiers on Earth, but we can't forget what they're doing for us. Tonight's show is dedicated to all of the soldiers out there, fighting and dying to keep us safe. Admiral Anderson, today marks the 30th anniversary of the N7 program. Can you describe your first day of training in this now famous program?
The Interplanetary Combatives Training Program is all business from day one.
How so?
We're given basic gear, then separated and stranded on an asteroid with no nav data. The test ends when the last person runs out of oxygen.
Sounds daunting. What happens to the ones who run out of air first?
Out of the program. The best N7s can survive alone, but work together to survive even longer.
That's very impressive, Admiral. Deep space survival training. That has to be so difficult. All of it would take such strength of character. Well, just plain strength. But then you seem like a strong person.
I'm sorry. Is there a question in there?
Well, does the program make the man, or do you think you were born for this?
It's a bit of both, I suppose. Every soldier reaches a point in their career, sometimes more than once, when they are asked to give more than they ever thought they could. That moment is the test. I've seen men and women, almost sure to fail, persevere long past the point of breaking. That experience changes them. Others, with all the gifts and abilities, fail in that moment. Sometimes they pick themselves up and carry on. Sometimes they're just done.
What about you? What was your moment?
I've had a few, none of which I'd like to share. But I think the toughest tests are still ahead of me.
What makes you say that?
Call it a hunch.
Soldier's intuition?
Something like that.
Do you trust your intuition? I mean, do you follow your heart over your mind?
Well, it depends on the day. No, I suppose if I were to be honest, I do trust my instincts. The problem is, war isn't orderly. And the enemy is never predictable. Even the most experienced veteran is going to find themselves in situations they haven't trained for. In those instances, and there's more than I'd like to admit, your instincts are the only thing keeping you alive. That, and the men and women you're fighting beside.
But soldiers are only as good as their leader, isn't that true?
Yeah. A good leader can make an okay squad great. A bad leader, well, war tends to make examples of them.
What makes a good leader, then?
A good leader is someone who values the life of his men over the success of the mission, but understands that sometimes the cost of failing a mission is higher than the cost of losing those men.
That's a terrible line to have to walk.
Yes, it is. But war is a terrible thing.
Thank you for your time, Admiral.
Thank you
The remainder of this interview was to take a more personal look at Admiral Anderson's life. It wasn't finished when the Reapers invaded. We can only hope that the Admiral and the soldiers under his command survive to tell us the rest of their stories. I'm Kalisa Al-Jalani. Thank you for watching.
I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted by my shepherd's appearance constantly changing from behind there. Did you notice that?
No, it's fine. I got a few minutes. First contact war? Yeah, I was there. My first real combat. First for a lot of us. I remember one night early in the war, strapped to my seat as our transport approached the LZ. Everyone was dead silent. Just the sound of breathing. Good men. I trained with all of them. We were always joking and horsing around, but not this time. Just the rattle of the shuttle. And that heavy breathing. Everyone was thinking the same thing. We're off to fight alien invaders. Aliens. Think about that. We all grew up wondering what was out there. If we were alone in the universe. Now we knew. We weren't alone. And we were in trouble. So there we were. About to face an enemy as different and unknown as we could imagine. I knew I had to say something, keep the men relaxed. So I turned to the soldier beside me, Hendricks, I think, and asked him how his mother was doing. Fine, he said. Why? Because I heard your mama so ugly the Marines thought she was a Turian. Almost shot her. I got a few smiles. Then Hendricks turned to me and said, "Hell, Anderson, I heard it was a picture of your mama that started this goddamn war in the first place. Scared the Turians shitless." Everyone had a good laugh at that. And the boys fought great that night. Sometimes that's all it takes. A joke, a pat on the back. Just a little reminder that everything's gonna be okay.
That was great. That was a great little story there. I hope you guys don't mind, but I just really enjoy these. We get to hear Keith David some more, which I've let it be known how much I'm a fan of him. And it's sometimes hard for me to forget that that he's playing Anderson instead of Goliath, because I just can't help but hear Goliath when he's talking.
Okay. I have your new questions here. As a leader, do I ever feel that the end justifies the means? Spirit of law over word of law. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but I think I know what you're after. You're referring to the way I, arranged to have the Normandy released to Commander Shepard before the Battle of the Citadel. I'm not sure how valuable hindsight is to the military. Obviously, it worked out for the best. Without the Normandy and Commander Shepard free to do what they needed to do, what we needed them to do, Saren might have taken the Citadel. I think it's clear what a different galaxy this would be if that had happened. I did what I had to. If I had been wrong, I would have gladly accepted the repercussions. The real trick is never being wrong. If you're looking for more action and less philosophy in these notes, let me know.
I believe a couple of the mods I have are supposed to add more things into this apartment here.
The Turians. Well, I might not always see eye to eye with the politics and the individual, but I have a great respect for the Turian military. Any Alliance soldier lucky enough to take part in their training programs will certainly be better for it. Their precision, skill, and discipline come together in a way that's second to none. Not that I'm faulting our own people or training. It's just that after fighting Turians in the First Contact War, years later, I had the opportunity to observe and train on Paladin. It was a turning point for me. And I would encourage any soldier to try it. It's a unique experience to put yourself in the squad of a Turian commander. My commander was an uncompromising bastard named Bartix Oryx. If you can find him, just ask how the platoon I commanded was trounced in his strategy game. Humbling. But I've used what I learned that day many times. The xenophobes will have their say. But I think it's vital that we do more of this kind of cross-species training. There you go. And if you do find General Oryx, let me know. I owe him money. You asked me to talk about the SSV Normandy. The Normandy SR-1. As commander of the Tokyo, I was consulted on the Normandy's design and on board for her initial training exercises. The average person probably doesn't know that the Normandy was a joint project with the Taurians. Acting CO, Eli Xander, was no diplomat. She ran out of patience with Taurian posturing and politicking during construction. The chief architect of the Drive Corps, Octavio Tatum, and his team of Taurian engineers were in the CIC for final training exercises. Tempers flared when Xander pushed the limits of the stealth system, waiting to vent the IES well past what Tatum was comfortable with. I tried to calm the situation, but it still ended with the Taurian scientist in shackles and a human Taurian fistfight at Korra's den later. Funny now, when I first laid eyes on the Normandy, she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Day after that training run, Admiral Wright found me on the bridge. She's yours, he said. Can't trust her to Xander. Send me a list of crew from the Tokyo you'd like, and prep for your first mission. Short command thanks to Saren. Still, one of the highlights of a long career.
I would have liked it if he had added, when he said, the Normandy, she was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I wish he had added, aside from Kaylee Sanders. I'm still on that. I'm never going to let that go. I just wanted Anderson and Kaylee to be together. That's all. Is that really so much to ask?
Okay. So, Tombstone data. Admiral David Edward Anderson. Not sure why anybody would be interested, but thanks for asking. I was born in London, June 8th, 2137. The last of 3 children born to Ursula and Paul Anderson. A nurse and a flight mechanic, respectively. But that's a little dry. And someone's gonna spice this up, right? Never been much for the spotlight. Anyway, where was I? It was a second marriage for my parents. They were almost 50 by the time they had me. My mother worked shifts, so my father would often take me to the base. While he worked, I watched transport ships and fighters take off. Worked his whole life around space travel, my father. But he never left Earth. Not for a day. He was a good man. But that's just a side note. Don't put that in. Who is it, Kaylee? Yes, I need to take that. I hope this is what you're after. I'll get to the more interesting N7 stuff next time.
See, apparently he was with Kaylee at the time he was making this. By the way, we are going to a nice sushi place. Now, I do love my my leather jacket look here, but at the same time, not what I would consider. That's more so what you would see them wearing on the Ark. Yeah, this is stuff from Andromeda. There is the dress here. Never really been too fond of it. I also know some people, like some women, they have asked, why is it the zipper is only on the lower half here? It doesn't go all the way up. But anyways. I'm not one to be... I'm not one of those who's going to talk about that or question that. So basically, if we were going to dress nice, it's basically either the dress or these, two different types of, I guess, dress blues and such, if we want to go all formal. But even if we're going to a sushi place, it's like, look, we're just going to go have some fun, right? It's just me and Joker. Joker's not going to dress up. I only bring this... One of the reasons I bring this up is because there's a funny line where if you've basically worn the same thing the whole time, it's a little silly. But there's going to be a point later on where whoever you're romancing is going to basically show up to help you out. And they'll they'll comment on your outfit. They'll say "nice outfit" or something, or "I like your outfit," and you just kind of look at them like, "Really?" Especially in this situation where it'd be like, "You've seen me wear this before. Why all of a sudden commenting on this now?" But if you change it to something much nicer like the dress and such, then it's like, "Oh, okay, now it makes sense."
Embarrassing moments? I've got more of those than anyone will ever know. Only way to learn something. But if I had to pick one to share, I had just gotten promoted to N7. Full of myself, king of the castle. Found myself buying drinks for undesirables in some rundown bar in the wards. They toasted my recent promotion. Hell, they would have toasted Batarian slavers if it had got them more drinks. About the time my money ran out, my new friends turned on me. I was outnumbered. Things didn't look good. My plan to get out of there involved lots of punching. Well, that worked for a while. Then a table hit me. Or I fell down. When I came to, I saw a Solarian putting the rest of the troublemakers down. A Solarian? Moved like a damn cat, I swear. When everybody was out cold. Or running. He walked over and helped me up. N7, he asked. Yes, sir, I replied. He looked over my collection of unconscious friends, nodding. Not bad, human, he said. Then he walked away. I had met my first Spectre. Learned an important lesson that day. No matter how good you think you are, there's always somebody quicker, faster, and a hell of a lot smarter than you just around the corner. That little lesson's kept me alive more than once since then.
I think that's a pretty good lesson to keep in mind.
You never asked me about this, but my wife just called. My ex-wife. Nobody likes to talk about the toll that long months apart can have on military relationships. She wasn't military. She couldn't handle it. But it's not even about military and non-military, damn it. It's spaceflight. Spaceflight. Finding the mass relays, miracles of engineering. Human imagination rising to meet our desires. We pay a price for that curiosity, that drive. Our relationships suffer. People we love suffer. But that's reality. And it's worth the cost. I must have thought it was. I guess I still do. In the end, you just have to hope you made the right choices. The Normandy? A brand new ship. My ship. You don't forget that moment. The first time you're standing there. The whole crew looking to you for direction. Unforgettable. I'd led men and women before that. Seen a lot of combat already. Always managed to find my way home in one piece. Do that a few times, you begin to think you know better than the next guy. Maybe you do, I don't know. But if you're lucky, really lucky, you find yourself on a good ship, in front of a good crew. A crew you can trust with your life. Gifted. Disciplined. Brave. All of them. Eager to set sail into the endless black ocean. I still remember my XO asking what my orders were. Shepard, I said. Let's see what we can find.
I think there's one more left.
Sure, I can talk about Commander Shepard. Big topic. There's been a lot written about the Commander, but most of it isn't true. People are quick to judge. They don't know the whole story. I don't even know the whole story. But I know the woman. Worked with her. Fought with her. Trust her with my life. Shepard's had some rough patches. Who of us hasn't? She's been forced to fight a lot of battles alone. God only knows how she got out of some of that. Makes your head spin. Thing is, you never heard a complaint. Never once got, "No, sir, I can't do that." She never hesitated. Few people know what Shepard's been through. I'd like to think I come pretty close. And I worry sometimes she forgets. There's a whole bunch of people who lose sleep over her getting back home. Maybe it doesn't need to be said. Maybe we're too dumb to say it. Soldiers like the commander are rare. Women like Shepard, even more rare.
Aww. Alright, so when we return, we will be heading off to some nice sushi place to meet up with Joker. Stay tuned.